Hello everyone, my name is Jessie Skinner and you're listening to A Healthy Imagination. On this show, I'll explore how to be creative while being mindful of your own mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. On this episode, entitled Ditching Your Thing, we'll talk about how to move on from a creative pursuit once it has exhausted its usefulness. The problem of finding one creative outlet among many, which I talked about in episode 2, has a counterpart, a shadow problem, if you will, creative stagnation. Instead of spending years trying everything, some of us spend those years on a single creative outlet or pursuit at the expense of all others. I believe this is another side effect of Western capitalistic thinking, which often conceives of our life's journey as a marathon race against everyone else. Our interest or talent in one area may peak naturally at a certain age, but our goal-oriented thinking still says, well, I've already come this far, how could I stop now? In my own life, I've often observed how friends and family will turn to a new creative outlet only when their everyday life undergoes a massive change. Pursuing an interest in dance after a messy breakup, for example, as if we are all waiting for the universe to give us permission to hit a reset button somewhere in our minds to feel what it's like to be inexperienced again. I've become much happier in my own life as I've learned to let go of things with time, even in some cases, specific creative hobbies which I've previously enjoyed. I'll give you an example. From about the age of 12 to my early 20s, I loved writing poetry. Every time something interesting happened to me or I was feeling overwhelmed, I would turn the experience into verse. I had no ultimate plans for this pursuit. I just felt that it was simply a fulfilling exercise, like taking my mind for a walk every day. Then, one day, I found for whatever reason that I no longer needed to do it anymore. It was no big decision, I simply stopped writing poetry. Because I had never assigned a personal or monetary value to the work beyond the experience of creation itself, the value of the time I'd spent with my poetry did not feel the least bit wasted. This may happen to you once, twice, or maybe more in your own life. You may put down what feels like the instrument of your creativity and never pick it up in the same way again. If this happens, try not to think about it as a negative thing. Everything you've learned may be of value somewhere else if you wait and see. To continue my example, when I finished writing poetry, I turned my attention to writing dramatic material. Stage plays, screenplays, and so on. Only many years later, when an observer commented that the dialogue between my characters felt poetic, did I wonder if I'd ever really put down that old instrument, or whether I had simply found another way to use it. Some questions to ponder at the end of this episode. Have you ever outgrown a creative outlet? With the benefit of hindsight, how do you feel about that departure in your life now?